I tell my kids sometimes that they'll look at me, oh, Mom's crying again. And I'll say, yeah, because I really love Dad and I really miss him.
That pain, Jenny Taylor hopes, is something she will always feel.
I don't ever want it to not hurt that Brent's not here.
In the years since her husband's death, Jenny says the firsts have been the most difficult.
All the first birthdays, the first anniversary, the first Christmas.
Today is the year anniversary of Major Brent Taylor's death, the last of those first milestones.
I've made it an entire year laughing every day and crying every day.
Finding out the details of what happened when her husband was killed, a recent day she was dreading.
But it was definitely a very heavy day to go and sit through that meeting and hear what we were told.
The military tells her a radicalized Afghani soldier targeted her husband, shooting and killing him during a training exercise.
He was having such an impact that the enemy saw him as a great threat, you know, as awful as it is that it's cost him his life. That's something I can be proud of.
She says there are no answers that will change anything.
If Brent had known he needed to die for our country, he still would have gone and served our country.
That difficult meeting, the last part of the investigation.
This is it. This is done. They're closing that book, but we're nowhere near ready to close that book.
At the Taylor home, a small bike sits in front of U.S. flags, a giant yellow ribbon in the yard. The little owner likely not knowing why someone put them there.
We talk about him. We don't tiptoe around.
But Jenny says she will make sure all of her children remember their father.
Sometimes I'll feel impressed to tell them things that I think he wants them to hear and know.
Even if he's not here.
I don't even want to move on, but we will keep moving.
And keep moving they do.
A typical day in our family is crazy. It is sheer madness.
7 kids, being a mom, that's been Jenny's role for years.
We try to get breakfast, we try to find homework. Do you know where your shoes are? We can never find shoes. I don't know why or where. And then it quiets down for a minute while they're at school, and I think that's where the biggest change has come, is usually when the kids have been at school, I'm busy doing home and mom things.
Homework, flag football, church activities, it's always something.
Well, I'm sure I've not put everything on there.
But this year, she's added the role her husband once knew, being in the public spotlight, traveling, interviews, speeches, foundations.
Our mailman just knows where we are.
She's become the public face of a very personal tragedy. On Heroes Boulevard, you can still see tattered flags and faded yellow ribbon wrapping the pole honoring Brent Taylor. His death hitting the community hard.
There's a lot of people who love and mourn Brent Taylor's loss, and it's been a humbling opportunity to share that with the public, with our city, with the nation.
Many grieved the loss of the decorated major, their beloved mayor. But for the Taylor family, this next year, they are ready to mourn the man they knew as a husband and their dad.
I think there's part of me that keeps thinking, our turn's coming. A little more personal, a little more private.
In North Ogden, Ryan Christensen, 2 News.
Didn't grow up easy, but that was definitely one of the hardest things I ever went through.
November 3rd, 2018, a day forever changing Jesse Brown's life.
The big reason why I got that tattoo is a reminder.
A day many have come to know as the day Brent Taylor was shot and killed while serving in Afghanistan. What many may not know is another young soldier with Major Taylor was also injured.
I continued doing what I was supposed to do that day.
A bullet hit Brown in the back, causing a 3-inch laceration and cuts.
It almost didn't happen in my mind, but then no, I was almost gone.
He says he was very lucky it got really close to his spine.
It was very real that I could have been, and pretty grateful.
But another reality set in.
I had a job, make sure he came back. He came back, but not the way he's supposed to.
The bullet Major Taylor took, a fatal one.
That affects you no matter what. Obviously, there's an understanding that certain variables are not in your control.
Something that changed him forever.
That will always be in the back of my mind and always kept at heart. So it will forever affect me like that.
Give me a hug though first.
Today, 2 lives connected by the incident, meeting for the first time.
I have thought time and time again, you took a bullet for my husband that day. And I love you for that, and I thank you for that.
Brent Taylor's widow, Jenny, and Jesse shared some emotional moments.
And I'm glad that the bullet you took didn't take you from us or from your son.
Jesse says he's grateful for the time he got to spend with a man he looked up to.
He knew what he was walking to every day, and he knew much, much better than I did, and he still gave it all. And I don't think that would ever be something that he was ever afraid of.
The 20-year-old soldier with another deployment next year says he's better for what's happened to him.
I mean, no one never really understands or is ready or knows what they're getting into, no matter what they've been told, what they've seen. I do.
Major Taylor, a lifelong role model.
Knowing what he put into it kind of gives me an idea what I want out of it, and I would just keep continuing doing my job, and that's my job, and I'm going to do it well.
In North Ogden, Rayanne Christensen, 2 News.